10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey. It's a player's perspective back to you live and direct this 2019 season, baby. Tom Covington and Ken Swillen right here next to you. Coming to you with another episode for Georgia Tech Sports Talk, the best talk, the only talk that you can get all of the talk of that Georgia Tech nation. What's going on, Ken?
Hey, man. I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself? You doing all right?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing
sure?
good.
You sure?
Hey, I don't like it when we late. I don't like it when we late, brother. I'm telling you what. I got all my people out there waiting on us, man, and they ready to get crunk this year.
Yes.
And ready to get this thing going, get lit, get live. Hive Nation, Hive Love, Jackets for Life, all of that. Hashtag this. Hashtag let's get started on time. Hashtag it don't matter when we do it, we're here, baby. And we're glad to see y'all. Tim and Mark are in the house right off the bat. I got a lot of people out there checking us out today, brother.
There you go.
They're excited, man.
Excited about it. As I said before, we got on the air. Happy anniversary to you, Tom.
Happy anniversary, brother. Yes, sir. It is officially the 1 year anniversary of A Player's Perspective.
Yes.
And we are so excited, man, that we are alive and strong, coming at you guys, giving you the best and loving and interacting with you guys all week long about what's going on with our Yellow Jackets out there. A lot of stuff to talk about today, to get excited about. And, man, it's more than a notion doing this thing, putting the production together,
man,
brother.
A lot more goes into it than one would think. I can run my mouth with the best of them.
Yeah.
And we can sit down and talk about different things and all of that good stuff. But it sometimes it's another job.
It's another job, brother. I'm telling you, it's another job. Speaking of a job, Coach Collins kicks off the 2019 football season today with the Yellow Jackets on the Rose Bowl field, 2:00 kick. And these guys had their first practice, brother.
Man,
everybody's reported and everything, and
yes.
they're right. I mean, all of this talk, everything that we talked about, the 2019 class, they're on campus.
Yep, and it's a beautiful thing. Every time I think about this time of year, I get reminiscent, of course, of when we went on campus for the first time.
Ooh.
Going on campus the first time. Going there the second year after you've been there for a year,
right? And
kind of knowing what to expect.
Yeah.
The dreaded 12-minute run,
right?
All of that good stuff goes through your mind because, it's a time now when if you've done everything that you know to do, now is the time that it comes together.
There you go.
Comes kind of full circle,
Exactly.
and you're able to show that I worked hard this summer.
Right.
I put in the work during the off season.
Yeah.
And now we wanted to pay dividends within the season. And I look for some different things. All the pundits, and we've talked about it before. All the pundits and everybody around the nation almost is saying that Georgia Tech's only going to win 3 or 4 games. They're going how dreadful they're going to be, and how lost it's going to be for them not to be in an option, and all that. And I say all that tongue in cheek, and I look at the people that's saying it and realize that they don't know anything about our program.
That's right. That's right.
To give credit to Coach Johnson. Coach Johnson had this team and the Yellow Jackets 7 out of the 11 years that he was here.
Right.
They were in contention.
In the mix.
They were in the mix. And really doing well. And it's not like Coach Collins has to come in and teach these guys how to win.
Exactly.
They know how to win, and they've been a part of a winning program. And my expectation, even though I said it from the time Coach Collins has been hired up until now, that I'm trying to temper it and make it as easygoing as it possibly can be. But the closer the season gets, the more the expectation level, and the more junk people are talking,
That's true.
it kind of, riles up my dandruff a little bit.
Yeah, I can
Because,
understand that, Ken.
it's almost like they're saying, well, y'all don't have any athletes over there anyway.
Right.
So it's like it's going to be a complete overhaul, complete redo. You're not going to win because you don't have athletes. And that's not true.
That's not true.
That's not true. Now I from just looking at what I've seen in the spring,
Yeah.
and what I know about our athletes on the outside,
Right.
I think people are going to be in for a world of shock
Absolutely.
and a world of hurt
Yeah.
if they think we don't have guys that can catch the ball, if they think we don't have guys that can run the ball,
Right.
and they think they don't have guys that can block and defend.
Well, I'm hoping that they think that way.
Right.
I really am. I really am. I'm hoping that they stick with what they're hearing out there. I hope that they are believing in the hype, that these kids are going to be coming out here, tripping over their feet, stumbling and bumbling, not understanding how to run a route, how to get out there and to set up in an RPO offense and be able to run these kind of things, because that's going to be their demise. Because you're looking at these cats that are athletes, and then they've proven it in the off-season workouts. Look at the transformation that these kids have had.
Right.
So now what you're looking at is that you're talking about kids that now have embraced a new, as Coach will talk about, a new culture, a new system, a new way of attacking and going about football. And they have embraced it from day one in transforming their bodies, getting stronger, going from 21 to over 32 people bench pressing, 225 over 20 times. I mean, that's incredible, Ken.
Right.
And a lot of people don't understand those standards and everything else. But also what you're looking at is a coaching staff that's coming to them with the world of talent and a world of expertise that's going to be imparting on these guys and teaching these guys what's going on. These guys that were not able to pass block last year are going to be able to pass block this year.
Right.
They're going to be better than they were last year.
Right.
You're going to look at cats that were running and just veering out and taking a dive and doing this kind of stuff, allowing to set up and see and read
Right.
and react and hit a hole. I mean, these cats have been looking forward to this, Ken, for a long time, listening to Jalen Camp, listening to Curry over at the ACC Media Days, looking at Nate Cottrell and a couple of the comments that he's had out there, and just these young freshmen excited to come up in here. Demetrius Knight, and you're looking at Yates coming in here.
Jemias Griffin, all these guys.
Right.
Right.
And Yates is, you've read the articles.
He's
I
in the
post
mix.
them on
He's
there.
in the mix, man.
That brother is in tune to what's going on, okay?
Yeah.
And he's only going to make people like Lucas and T. Oliver better.
Right.
And that competition now is about to hit the field to where guys are going to be pushing themselves and and Ken, that's the difference I think that we're going to have this year. Not that you just have the leadership and the players pushing themselves, but you also have a coaching staff that's going to be pulling them and challenging them to be better.
And I think that's what you have to hope, that everything that has led up to this time.
Yeah.
I told somebody earlier today, Coach Collins has won in every aspect.
Yes, he has.
He's won in the press conference.
Yes, he has.
He's won on the recruiting trail.
Yes, he has.
He's winning in the culture change and shift at Georgia Tech.
Right.
He's won with the fan base is all lathered up and froppy and ready.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Now we have to go out and put this thing on the field. And I heard Coach Collins on the radio this morning with one of at a radio station around Atlanta.
There's radio stations in Atlanta?
Yeah, that's all.
Oh, okay.
And they actually interviewed Coach Collins.
Did they really?
So and
Wow.
it wasn't our sister station. It wasn't our home station or whatever.
Gotcha.
So it's just one of those things where I heard him talking, and they kind of giggled a little bit about having him about having Georgia Tech play the first game against Clemson.
Right.
And everybody believes that that's just going to be a sacrificial slaughtering.
Okay.
For some reason or another. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And they believe that. And Coach Collins was very gracious with everything that he was saying and everything he was doing. He was just talking about how we're going to compete.
Yes.
And that's the one thing that I think that has been drilled into these young men is the competition.
Yes.
Competing at a level that is beyond you.
Right.
And sometimes you don't know what's in you until you're faced with an insurmountable situation.
Right.
A situation that is supposed to be, you're supposed to get dogged out. But then all of a sudden you get in a game and you realize you're not as far as you thought you were.
Exactly.
Or you're not as far away as you thought you were.
As you thought you were. That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
And
right.
and you get into a game and you're starting to compete.
Yeah.
And you're starting to compete, and next thing you know, all of a sudden it's like, okay, now we competing, now confidence comes.
That's it.
And when confidence comes, now we taking the ball game deep into the ball game, and now, oh, wait a minute, we can win this
We
thing.
can win this thing.
You
That's
know,
it.
so
That's it.
that has to happen, and that's what I believe is going to happen in this first game. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. I think, and people say, well, is this 1 year? You think, this, that, and the other, or do you think this can really happen in this amount of time? I'm telling you, I don't know what Coach Johnson, what Coach Collins has on him, but he is smearing it on every guy on that team, and these kids believe.
Yeah. And that's the thing I think that you got to try to get people to understand is that no, we're not looking at pie in the sky. We're not looking at this kind of stuff. What we're looking at is preparation,
right,
and being prepared, going out there and being ready to do what you got to do. So what you said was that there was a lot of things about Tech that couldn't possibly be. That's what we heard in the past.
Right.
We could not because of that, right? And Coach came in and he addressed that, and he let them know that, no, we can turn that around. That Tech can be a premier place to be and a place to play because where we're located, because of the type of schooling that we have, the curriculum that we have. We have people that are talking about it and taking on the torch. Parents and family members of kids that are being recruited by our schools are going out there and being sounding boards for what we're doing at Georgia
Right.
Tech now. So not only are people believing in what we can do, they're actually selling it and marketing it themselves.
Right.
You know, the whole Waffle House thing of the identity of what's going on and where it is and how it is supposed to be. There were opportunities for other coaches to do the same thing, but
right,
they didn't.
right.
You see what I'm saying? And so now you had somebody that gravitated to. So he's winning there. Shout out to Bryce Gowdy. Okay, welcome to the family.
Welcome to the family, baby.
Okay, all right. Another 4-star athlete that's coming down here. That's just going to be one of many.
Did you see any film on him yet?
I did, and it's ridiculous. and it's awesome. It's awesome because I tell you what I like about him, Ken. And as we digress or regress.
Digress a little
I'm
bit.
gonna digress a little bit, but it's the work ethic that he put in,
Right.
and then the way he speaks to it.
Right.
So now what you can kind of see there, Ken, as I bring it back, right, is just that he actually is speaking the language that Coach Collins is speaking
Right.
in his own life,
Right.
and now bringing that together
Right.
with a family. So when you look at it in that perspective, you can only see that an athlete like that would be gravitate to
Right,
a program
exactly.
like this.
Exactly.
And more of them are going to actually start doing that.
Yeah, and that's something that you say that because I believe that's a key component, not just to recruit them. That's a key component to life, building relationships, and
Right.
doing all those different things. You got to be relatable.
You have to.
You have to be relatable, and you can't be archaic.
No.
You can't be stiff.
No.
You got to be able to talk the language.
Can't be rigid.
And you can't be too rigid, as
Yeah.
you say, and all that good stuff. But you got to be able to talk the language with these kids.
Yeah.
And what Coach Johnson, what Coach Collins has done.
Yeah.
And I keep saying Coach Johnson because
You've been saying it for 11
I've
years.
been saying it for
so-
11 years. I've been saying it for 11 years.
It's okay,
But
brother. I understand.
I'm appreciative of a foundation too.
Exactly.
And you have to pay homage to a foundation.
Oh, you sure do.
Yeah, you have to pay homage to
Sure
the
do.
foundation, and you have to understand that, it wasn't just by happenstance that 7 out of 11 years that we were involved.
Well, and then look back at that, Ken. It said that the option would not work,
Right.
and then they proved them wrong. So really what Tech is all about is proving people wrong.
Right.
That's really kind of where it is all the time. It has been every year coming in, we've been voted at the bottom of the league, at the bottom of our conference. not going to basically be able to do this and do that. And then we end up being at the top of our conference here and
Right.
playing in the championship game, playing in the Orange Bowl, going to bowl games year after year after year. Had a little interruption there, but okay, a lot of people do.
Right.
Okay, even Alabama had a couple down years.
Right.
And I'm sure Alabama remembers that.
Right.
Okay, but then you got a chance to bounce back. Because when you're a successful program, and a program like ours, all you need is the right pieces of the puzzle to come together to start putting it back on track.
Right.
So couldn't recruit here, now we're recruiting here. Okay, we're not only like 54 before, but now we're 18.
Right.
Okay, and we did that by going from 21 to 18.
To 18.
So that's growth.
Right.
Okay, and that's in the process of, before we even take a snap, before the August 29th game against Clemson, we're winning some battles. And that's what it's all about so far, is building a program, getting it together, making things happen and moving forward, is that you have to kind of overcome the negativity and that kind of stuff. I'll never forget Mark Bradley, and a lot of us like him and don't like him and that kind of stuff. But I remember talking to him one time about it, and just about how sportscasters either have this to say and that to say and everything else. He said, Tom, he said, just realize, he said, they got to talk about something for 3 hours.
There you go.
It's a long time to have to talk about something.
Right.
And they got to throw something out there in there. And then they do it for ratings, for just to kind of wake maybe the audience up to get more calls and that sort of thing. But it's one thing that we can't really take personal. I tell you right now, I mean, well, we'll take it personal as athletes. Okay, we'll do that. And we'll use it as bulletin board material.
And fuel.
And fuel, okay? Some petrol right there, okay? To kind of get out there and to overcome that. So even Coach spoke to that. I heard him on 680s talk to that, about how the coaches use that to kind of get them excited and generated over the summer to kind of say, hey, put a little chip on your shoulder.
There you go.
We got a reason to show up.
There you go.
We got a reason to come out there and do what we got to do. So my thing is that really Tech's program is about to basically be a rocket ship. It's going to take off. Now, it may do it this year, and it may not.
Right.
That's athletes who were good last year who are going to be great this year. You're going to see average athletes from last year be good this year. You're going to see a stepping stone and people taking a step up in wherever they are in this program and doing something. I tell you what you're going to see this year for sure. You're going to see more speed on that field.
Yes.
You are going to see more speed on that field out there. And then you're going to see some guys get out there in a hungry type of environment, ready to show what they can do and how they can do it.
Right.
Okay? And that's the kind of thing that we're going to be looking for. And I'm telling you, a lot of that effort, speed, strength, and different mindset is going to translate into some W's.
Yeah, I really believe that, Tom. I think that is, going to be key for Georgia Tech this year, is to get out there and to really outwork people.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's going to be key early on, is just showing tenacity, showing the willingness to fight. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think anybody on this team is going to lay down.
Yeah, no.
I don't think anybody over there will, from the coaching staff, nobody's going to lay down. Nobody's going to quit.
No.
And I don't care what the situation might be.
Yep.
We want to see that, as you said, the progression each week. Mm-hmm. Them getting better and better. Them getting a better understanding of what it is they're doing.
Right.
And we're all athletes.
Yes, we are.
When we come into a situation, whether it be a situation we're familiar with or whether it's something new that we have to adjust and adapt to.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you have to allow your technique and your training to take over, and your athleticism to kick in.
Yeah.
So
I was working with some young men, doing some coaching and stuff, Ken, and it was funny how that kind of stuff kicks in, right?
Right.
Because I was watching them do planking, and struggling a little bit, not really holding it on, not really doing these kind of things, and I actually went down there to try to compete with them. You see what I'm saying? Now, let me tell you something. I think, from what I understand, staying in a plank position for 4 minutes is pretty darn good.
That's pretty good.
Well, that's what I did.
That's what you did?
That's what I did.
So you still got it, baby.
And then what I tried to talk to them about was the importance of the core.
Right.
Right? And everything that we did in our workouts and everything else emphasized the core.
We don't like to emphasize the core right now, though, Tom.
Well, we have overemphasized. We have overstated. We've overstated the importance of the core. Right now, actually, like I like to talk about, kid, I'm just put a protective layer over all of the work that I put in. Okay, so that I don't damage it at all.
Yeah, there you go. This good. It's good for my soft organs and everything else. You got to have that cushion on there right now. I need all that cushion right now. So, you know.
And then my daughters love beating on it and hitting on it and everything else and talking about it. But I'm saying that was the competitor in me.
Right.
That's really kind of what I'm talking about.
Right.
Is that you just wanted to kind of see what you can do to maybe push somebody and get them over the hump. Make them believe that they can do a little bit better than what they have. Having a 50-year-old man outdo them in something of that nature that they should be able to outdo me in, it's going to cause competition.
Right.
And having a team coming in, a key team that we're going to go play on a national stage, kicking off the ACC network, get out there and make sure that you guys have that on your cable provider. But doing those kind of things, what you're talking about is generating now a higher level of expectations of what we look for going in week and week out at Georgia Tech.
Yeah, and that's going to be that's going to be kind of the mantra, I think, for me each week is taking it one day at a time, taking it one practice at a time, taking it one play at a time, and getting better from week 1 to week 2 to week 3 to week 4 to week 5. And by the end of the year, we everything is really culminating in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's always interesting me to the naysayers and all those that talk negatively always talk about, well, what happens when everything that you're preaching kind of goes out the window. My simple phrase that even Coach Ross used to tell us is, you got to keep doing the little stuff.
You got to keep doing it.
Got to keep doing it. Got to keep going. Because I remember being 2 and 3 and
you were 3 and 8. I started out 2 and 9.
Yeah, you started out 2 and 9. The second year, I think we went
3 and 8.
Oh no, we went 7 and 4.
Oh, after that for you, that was my third year. Right.
Your third year, we were 7 and 4, and
beating Georgia.
You should have been in the bowl game. If it was under the present the way bowl games are set up, if you only had to win 6. We had won 6 games and we won 7. Georgia was the 7th game that we won that year.
Exactly.
So we knew going into the 1990 season that we had something possible that could be very special.
Exactly.
But I said that to say this. It's the little things that happen when you're not winning.
Yes.
It's the guy that won't cheat on a workout.
That's it.
It's a guy that won't let his buddy cheat on a workout.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
It's those little things like that that go a long way. I was messing with Thomas Balcom about 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And we were talking about how it was just me and him on certain mornings that were out running the stadium steps.
Wow.
Just little stuff. Wasn't no coach watching us.
Right.
Nobody even knew we was out there running.
Exactly.
But we knew we had to get better.
Exactly.
So we went out there and ran stadium steps. We did it 2 or 3 times a week. And that was in preparation, getting ready, and I wouldn't let him cheat. He wouldn't let me cheat.
Right.
And I know that's amazing that Balt wouldn't let me cheat.
Shout out to World Team.
That's a story for another day. We'll have to bring Thomas on. I'm trying to tell you.
I think we're gonna have him on next week.
Yeah. I'm
we
telling
had
you.
to reschedule.
Because Thomas is a guy that is a profound and very wise storyteller.
Yeah.
And he will have you in stitches, just the way he sets up and tells stories, is amazing. But, he wouldn't let me cheat during those moments. And I'm so glad because it taught me a lesson.
Yeah.
Taught me a lesson. Football is I always talk about it being a microcosm of the world.
That's true.
Because, if you have integrity during those moments when nobody's watching, it just bodes well and it carries you over into your life, and you'll have integrity when nobody's watching for real.
Nobody's watching. That's it. That's true. Character is what's done in the dark.
Right.
Absolutely. And just like, you can just see the passion in our fans and the things that are going on. You can even see the different sides of anticipation of what's going on. I see Jacob Mashburn out there and my man Dexter Printup, talking about how we're gonna be busting some heads this year.
Yes,
we're
sir.
gonna be knocking some people out, and you got some others that want to say, hey, let's just kind of take it, a little so conservatively. Let's take the under. Let's kind of do those kind of things. But at the same time, I think for everybody, what we're looking for is just having a taste of some success this year.
Right, right.
To do that we can build on, that we can put together, and we can make happen. Now, Ken, going into that game, somebody was just talking about that. Trevor, now in the type of offense and the things that they run and everything else, it's really hard to get to the quarterback.
Right, because
it's
everything
really
comes up
hard.
so quick.
It's a quick read, it's a quick hit, and that kind of thing. But to have an opportunity to lay some wood on that cat, will change some dynamics. Because if you can go back to the Syracuse games that they played and watched him, that was something that Syracuse was able to do. It was able to put some pressure on him, put a couple of hits on him. Now, granted, he was getting out the pocket and running and that kind of stuff. Yeah. But if you were able to kind of ring his bell a couple of times, that's going to be a way to kind of maybe kind of level the playing field a little bit.
And
so far as his abilities.
And that being said, you could see last year there was civil unrest when he went out of the ball game.
Exactly.
I mean, and literally they were snatched out of the fire.
Yeah.
By a kid that played over in Grayson. I can't recall his name at the moment, but second string quarterback comes in and does something that you don't expect him to do, and they win the ball game.
That's right.
And sometimes it's crazy because as a defender, you're preparing for one guy.
Right.
You're preparing for Trevor Lawrence, and all of a sudden the second string comes in, and you haven't even studied him. You don't know anything about him,
right.
And all of a sudden he gets hot and lights you up a little bit. And it's just one of those things. But to your point, Trevor Lawrence is not to me, he's not that guy that's the tough guy that you think about.
Exactly.
So if you get to him and you get him on the ground and you get some licks on him,
yeah.
You might soften him up just a little bit.
Well, he's the prince. You know what I'm saying? He's the royalty. He's a little thing, the long flowing hair, the golden boy, the golden child. Okay, but yet if you start wreaking some havoc, okay, now we just happen to have a coach that's called the Minister of Mayhem. Okay, somebody that has a reputation of really getting a defense to put pressure on people and to get out there and do some things. So we can expect some of that.
Right.
We can look for some of that. The ability to bring in some young cats like Michael Lockhart, that's going to be able to come in there. You're looking at the growth, and we're hoping that we can get some clearance for Antonius Clayton.
Right.
Okay. Coming in here and making so that he can help with that defensive line.
Defensive line, right.
And putting some pressure on some people out there and doing some things. But just the growth of the existing D-line that's out there and what they're going to be doing, it's another year. It's another year. Chico Bennett that's out there that's just coming in. You got some young talent
right
that may have a chance to play that can cause some pressure on that edge, okay, that can actually start to help to put some things out there and what's going on. And then, of course, in the defensive backfield, some help with Miles Sims and that kind of stuff. These are just pluses. These are things on top of what you already have right there.
Right.
It's not like Trey Swillen and those guys back there and Oliver and all that kind of stuff have been sitting and resting on their laurels. These cats have been out there balling.
Yep.
And they're ready to go. And they're ready to go out there and put together a game plan that can really start to make Tech better, but then start showing that on game day when we have to go up against Clemson on the 29th.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. You these guys are putting in work. They've done some good stuff over the off season, and as I said before, you want to see it come to fruition. You want to see some good stuff. You want to see the good stuff that you've done. Mm-hmm. That hard work start to pay off,
right?
And start to start to show forth some signs and start to bear fruit.
That's it.
And I believe that the excitement on the defensive side, the excitement on the offensive side, the excitement period.
Yeah.
That is, I can't wait for a home game day now. I'm really excited about seeing what's going to happen the first time we're really at home.
Right.
And I think it's going to be a situation to where, that we hadn't seen in a long time. And it just reminiscent to that spring game.
Yeah.
We went down and, expecting to see a few thousand fans, and you get 20 to almost 22,000 people in the stadium.
That's right.
And it's, mayhem, and people are going crazy, are really excited with the excitement. All the former players that were back there, everything that happened leading up to this point.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the season to start.
Well, I tell you what, I think in all likelihood, you're talking about a season right now that'll go by that will generate unbelievable excitement going forth for the 2020 season, 2021, and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to see that change overnight, let us go out there and get a W on the 29th and watch how all of a sudden that USF game becomes a sellout right there at Bobby Dodd Stadium.
Right.
It's so many, because I say that because, people have been laying dormant. They've been in hibernation. They've been in a retreat mode because they just couldn't identify with the Johnson era. They just were not happy about the sort of the up and down, the seesaw kind of thing. But now they kind of have something that they can grab onto. Mm-hmm. And everybody loves a winner. Right. Everybody loves a winner. And the ability for that to happen. And then, the social media aspect, the radio, the David and Goliath kind of effect that's kind of coming along for us. Right. Everybody loves an underdog. Everybody loves a team that's on the rise. Look at the Braves back with the worst to the first type scenario, right? And ever since then, the Braves' attendance has been at the top of Major League Baseball, for decades. Right. And so you're looking at just opportunity, Ken, and that's kind of what we're talking about now for opportunity. They get out there, they have the first practice today. I'm sure they were excited about that. You got a photo day coming up on Saturday.
Right.
A chance for you all to get out there and check out.
That's the fan photo day, right?
Fan photo day.
I used to love that day, man.
Oh, yeah, that was
fun.
Well, you had a shorter practice.
Right.
And you and I posted a photo with us, acting silly, having a good time.
Right.
And doing that. But it was just a way to kind of meet the people, you know what I'm saying? Right. And the people that are shouting out there talking to you now, we got a lot of people that are tweeting and Facebooking and all that kind of stuff, and Facebook Living with us. But now you got a chance to go out there, man, and just meet some of these kids, man, and just and these kids love that attention. They love the see that you got a back, and they want to see that Hive love. That's what they want to see. Right. They want to see the Hive love come out and see what's going on. Former player John Lewis is watching. Shout out to my man out there, John Lewis, offensive lineman out there, fired up, and getting some things done. But these are, it's exciting times right now.
Right.
And to add on and to have the whole recruiting thing, the recruiting talk come about too. Yeah. On top of that, it's just so much to talk about.
I mean, it's so crazy because, as the season ended last year, we were wondering what was going to happen and, and what in the world would we be talking about and who would we be talking about coming to Georgia Tech. Right. Lo and behold, Coach Collins gets hired, and it's almost been like a sprint to this first game because everything has been happening. Yeah. In a positive nature, right. Within the program, and all the positives have kind of outweighed the negatives, right? And it's just been one of those things that's been it's been a good ride so far.
It really been a good ride,
and we don't want to I don't anyway want to overlook or say anything negative about the loss of Brandon Adams because that was tough.
Well, that's the foundation for which we built this coming year and the future of Georgia Tech football on, because he was a special figure.
Yes.
A special person and a well-rounded person that just wasn't a player but an uplifter. He resonated in the mind and body and soul of all those that are around him. And so he's going to be sorely missed out there.
Right.
But like I told you, Ken, there's a lot of similarities that go along with what's happening now and the change of the guard to when we came about.
Right.
With Coach Ross coming on the scene. We lost Chris Cottle back in those days. Right. And that was something that galvanized us and pulled us together. Right. Because he was that type of person also. Mm-hmm. Very infectious personality. Everybody loved him and cared about him. He cut a lot of our hair. He was our barber, but he was an awesome athlete and talent. And not only were we excited about just being his teammate, but we were anxious to see him go out there and perform on the field. And a lot of that we didn't get a chance to see because of his premature death,
Right.
you know, and that kind of thing. But Ken, we've been keeping it alive. Normally we would shut it down for the whole summer. Come
Right.
back in the fall. This year we decided to do a few shows
Right.
and kind of keep people abreast about what's going on.
Right.
Going into this fall right now, we've got a lot of guys that are on the awards and watch list going into the season.
Right.
You're looking at Kenny Cooper, center of ours, and Tyler Davis, a tight end, who are on the Remington Trophy and John Mackey Award list.
Right.
So that's going to be something that people are going to be all eyes on them and how well they perform and what they're going to be doing this year. You got Howard, that's actually going to be out there. And what was the award he's got going on out there? Ken, you know what I'm talking about?
I can't remember.
But I'm gonna bring it
But
up
it's
though.
probably what's the one for the running back?
Yep. And the Dope Walker
yeah,
Award.
Dope Walker, yeah.
Dope
yeah,
Walker
yeah.
Award. And so Jerry Howard and Mason
Yeah.
are going to be both on that list on the Dope Walker. So we got a lot of people that are out there. And then Jahez Ali has been actually added to an awards list also
Okay.
for the Werfel Award. Okay, for somebody that has done a lot of community service and different things, basically talking and speaking to the well-roundedness of a player.
Right.
So a lot of eyes are going to be on Georgia Tech this year and just want to see what they're doing. And I've always said this, Ken, the rich history of Georgia Tech has always kept us on the radar. And for us to be in the talk and be out there in the top 25 and all that kind of stuff, it was imperative that we did it. I've heard Coach Johnson and stuff talk about that they didn't really pay attention to that kind of stuff and look at that. But to me, the ultimate recruiting tool is the branding of your image of what's going on and what you're
Right.
having. And when you're in the top 25, man, every time ESPN come on, they're scrolling through. They're telling you who's in the top 25, the top 10, the top 15. Especially if you're in the top 10, you're always getting that GT flashing up on the screen.
Right.
People are always seeing that. It's important, man, to get into the polls and to start rising in the polls so that people can talk about you.
Right, and not just so people can talk about you, but so that the program that you are building can grow.
Yeah,
It can't.
You
It
can't
can't
maintain,
You
right?
can't. Yeah, you just can't stay status quo.
Right.
And I think for so long that was the sentiment.
Right.
We'll recruit the same ball players. We'll do the same thing. We'll keep doing the same thing. We're doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome or a different result.
Right.
That's the definition of something else, right?
That sure is. It sure is. It's insanity.
That's
brother.
insanity.
That's insanity. And I'm dealing with that in a work situation right now. Okay. And then I think, when you recognize insanity is in effect, and then you go about and you just add ignorance on top of that, what do you call that?
Yeah.
And to me, that's a very disruptive, negative situation.
Right.
That doesn't have any possibility for growth and advancement. And that's something I believe and I'm hoping that's behind us. We prepared ourselves with a lot of tech influence
Right.
on this coaching staff. So now they can talk to not only what we do on the field, but how you work it out in the classroom, helping these kids make that transition from high school to college, being able to go out there and understand, hey, that it's just a system. It's just a program. Being in the administration myself, what we tried to teach the kids was, hey, just preparing your mind in the way that you attack your classes and the things that you do.
Right.
It's a system to doing that. And as long as you follow the program, you're going to be okay. And you're going to be just fine. And what you're going to discover along the way is that you can become a pretty good student too. And you can learn something, especially when it makes sense to you. But Ken, you had the opportunity. I know I had the opportunity of being all ACC. You had a chance of doing it, but also coming in as an All-American and that kind of stuff. Does that kind of thing put pressure on you when you're first, I guess, on the list to becoming one, and people want to see how you play, and then ultimately actually achieving that status. How does that affect a person and a baller going into the season?
Um, you know, if I think it does affect you, and I think the positive thing that happened to me was that I had a cousin, Pat, who had done it before,
Gotcha.
and I got a chance to walk by his picture every day.
Gotcha.
He was I think he was the 45th or the whatever it was. I think it was 45 or whatever.
Okay.
As far as the All Americans
Inductee?
through Georgia Tech.
Okay. Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? He was like number 40. I was thinking 40, it might have been 41, 42, however it was.
Okay.
My goal when the first day I walked at Georgia Tech and saw his picture on the wall, I wanted to put my picture right beside his. That was a private goal of mine.
Gotcha.
That I wanted to be the 42nd or 43rd, whatever it was,
Gotcha.
All-American at Georgia Tech.
Gotcha.
And, I was a freshman All-American, and then my sophomore year, it happened. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff happened. Does it add pressure to you? Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And sometimes it does. You add, I put pressure on myself.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I knew what he had done. I wanted to follow. I wanted to make him proud. I wanted to follow the family lineage and do all that good stuff.
Right.
So I put pressure on myself to be great or to be whatever. And thinking did I think I would be that? I was hoping I would be that. Didn't know what was going to happen. But I was confident. Kind of quietly said it to myself that's what I wanted. That was a goal that I had set. I was able to accomplish it. But as things go on and you are on these lists, you are on these watch lists, and people are watching, and people are seeing you. We always have a phrase that we used to say that the eye in the sky don't lie.
Don't lie.
So when you
That's
put,
true.
whatever you put on tape, whatever you put out there, people are going to judge you one way or the other.
That's true.
Why not let it be something great? Why not let it be something good?
That's
because
true.
they're gonna have something to say about anything you do.
Right.
If you're an All-American on the team and your team is not winning, it's on you. If you, they're trying to figure out what's wrong, not just with the team, but what's wrong with you, why your team is not winning.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's a team sport.
Yeah.
So if we win together, we lose together, all that good stuff.
Right.
But the leaders of the team, are the ones that have to carry the brunt of that load. And most times, if it's All-Americans or if it's quarterback or whatever it is, you're going to carry that load of the pressure of winning or losing. So, is there pressure? Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you deal with it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think for me, it was a little bit it was a little bit easier to deal with because I tried not to think about that all the time. If you get inside your own head and try to force things, you're gonna mess up.
You're gonna mess up.
But you just have to let it come to you. And I prayed about it. I said, Lord, if this is for me, let it be for me.
Let it be for me.
Let it be for me.
I think about that oftentimes, especially when we made the transition into the pros. Just not having somebody that I really knew that I can gravitate towards, that I can talk to, that can help me, to tell me, hey, you messing up, or you need to be doing this, or yeah, that's right, that you should be doing that. Because I remember even going back to high school, my coach Tom Favela over there at Long Island Lutheran, shout out to the Crusaders. But, he spoke a lot about that thing, is that, you just need to be the best that you can possibly be at all times.
Right.
Awards and accolades will always come.
Always come.
Because you are doing those things.
Right.
Don't ever get into the point where you're pressing to impress.
Right.
That you're trying to do something or stressing out to try to put yourself in a certain position, or you line up, I gotta make this catch, I gotta do that stuff. Don't do undue pressure on yourself. Right. When you go through practice, you catch that ball and you squeeze the tip and you tuck it away. That's just something that you do every day, and you just do it again in the game. Just allow that to be just a natural flow of progression that you put together. We got another gentleman out there, Presley Harvin III.
Right.
Okay, great punter, one of the top punters in the country right now, is on the Ray Guy list.
Right.
Okay, and so for somebody to now look at some opportunities, hey, this might be an opportunity where he might be able to have to come through and shine a little bit more. We may need him a little bit more this year and what's going on. you like to see him punt and everything, but you like the alternative too. You
Right.
know, when we don't need them because we're scoring, or constantly making first downs.
Right.
But at the same time, this young kid has some special talent.
Yes.
And he's coming out there doing some things. So you put him out there and Wesley Wells as a kicker. Both guys have shined in the past and have basically solidified our special teams going into the 2019 year.
Yeah, and then you talk about Presley Harvin. You look at him, and I'm telling you, watching him kick the ball is special.
Yes, it is.
I mean, because he can really change the field position, change the way things are happening and going, and put you in a better light.
Yeah.
When he makes contact with the football in the proper way. It's just amazing to me, that he. Number one, that he chose Georgia Tech when he did, because he was like one of the number one kickers in the country when coming out of high school.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think education, of course, was very important to him, and that's why Georgia Tech was so high on his list. Shout out to him, and I believe he has a real good chance of winning that Ray Guy Award.
And it's just great to see him join in with a lot of previous greats, Rodney Williams, Williamson, and then you look at Rodney Williams, and you're looking at Durant, okay, got guys that really excelled out there. My boy Jason Bender, that's out there, and then Bill Weaver, okay,
underfoot.
There you go. And but the guys that have actually gone out there to help flip that field. To do some things, and then Scott Aldridge, right, and doing some stuff out there and making that happen. Shout out to Joe Ham. Shout out to everybody who's tuning in with us. Give a call to people, let them know what's going on. A Player's Perspective is live, ready to kick off this 2019 season. John Lewis asked about the offensive line, how they were doing, how Coach Key is coming along with these guys, and what's going on. And the thing is that, Ken, from what I've gotten and from what I've seen, I think it's one of those things that I can't wait for you to actually see it.
Right.
Because these cats are really coming together. These cats are really gravitating towards the tutelage of what they have. And it's now exciting because now they can get Coach Key back in front of them, because we can start these fall practices.
Right.
Over the winter, you can't really have them out there doing their thing. It's all in the strength coach's hands.
Right.
But you're looking at guys who have transformed, John, who have gotten stronger, who have watched some more film, who have actually worked in these drills, have done some things, have worked on their footwork, and been able to kind of put together an off season together and come out there and do it. And then knowing that you got a little bit of pressure from people wanting to see how you're going to do some things. And I think just like everybody else on the team, they've embraced the change, and they've been working their behinds off to get out there and make a difference this year.
Yeah, and when it happens, when we see guys working the way these guys have worked. I've watched just about every video that they've had they put out, and I'm telling you, they have made me tired watching them work, and just the level of excitement that they have has been great.
Yeah.
And I think it's really one of those things that has really changed the way we think about the season or feel about the season.
Right.
It kind of changed my optimism a whole lot when I start seeing them really get out there working. I said, "Oh, these kids are paying. They're paying the price.
They are.
They're paying the price.
They
you know what I'm saying? And it's going to pay off.
It's going to definitely pay off. I showed a local coach here one day the picture with Jalen Camp, I think it was, and doing the hamstring exercises and, with the chain around his neck and bending down and going all the way to the floor and coming back up. I mean, those things are impressive. And the reaction to the coach was like, those Georgia Tech guys are just different. Those are just different guys. So speaking to the positive impact that these guys are workers. They are just a level above. They constantly get out there and do some things. And I'm excited for people like Jalen Camp this year, too, being able to go out there. He's got a bigger body. He's got a leaner body. I think he even picked up a step or two this year in his speed department. But anyway, you're looking at big possession wide receivers to me, are people that can really make a difference in this league for what's going on and what's happening. And then to have the ability to get the ball in his hands and start moving, the Bebe Thomas, okay,
Right.
was somebody that we can look back to and talk about. Just being able to really stand people up, stiff on them, get them off of them, and then get out there in the field and make some bigger plays, get that extra yard or two to possibly move the sticks. These things are going to be exciting. And then to add all of that speed that's coming behind it, it's just blowing the top off of the roof right there, getting some things happening to where we're going to be able to stretch the field. Coach Pat now is going to be able to get out there and do some things to really stretch the field and get these guys down there to stretch defenses and do some things. Amarian Brown, okay?
Right.
When people just looked at him, they were just talking about that's just speed on a different level.
Right.
But then they now talk about Demetrius Knight
Right.
coming in as a quarterback, but then as an athlete now, just being willing to fit in where he can fit in. But they just say that he's got a different level of speed
Right.
that they haven't seen.
Right.
So a lot of stuff is looking good for them. The tight ends are coming in. Tyler Davis was a guy that was a transfer coming in, but
Right.
now we actually have Devaney coming in and doing some things out of New Jersey. And there's a lot of talk about him. He's a late bloomer, a kid that didn't quite play football until almost his senior year.
Right.
Kind of went on to the prep level to kind of get a little extra time and do some stuff. But this is a kid that they talked about has incredible strength and ability. Used to be a pitcher in baseball. And so he's an all-around athlete that's going to add another dimension too, as a blocker and as well as a receiver out there in the open field. So yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I really can't wait until people see the speed and the size outside. You know, because I think that's been the underestimation. I think that a lot of people think that these guys were just blockers, so they don't really have anybody that can run. They don't really have any. You know, we got to understand they weren't asked to do that.
Yeah.
That wasn't what they were asked to do.
Right.
You know,
That's
they were asked to block mainly, and when the ball came their way, to make a play.
Right.
You know, and we know we got guys that can make plays,
But
but now they're going to get more opportunities to make those plays and to be more of a part of the ball game. So you're going to see these guys hungry early, and really try to make some noise.
That's it.
Because the wide receiver position, as vaunted as Georgia Tech has been, and probably has had some of the a couple of the greatest wide receivers that we've had in our school history come in the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years with Calvin Johnson and Bebe. You know what I'm saying? Those were guys that you didn't think. Bebe came, of course, in an era when we ran the ball a lot, and you didn't think about him being that guy, but he was that guy. I remember they would just throw the ball out to him.
That's it. Make up plays.
Just make up plays to get the ball into his hands.
Yeah.
And for the life of me, I can't figure out why Coach Johnson kind of got away from that, or I think that was kind of the beginning of the end to me when you didn't trust the athletes that you had outside. You know what I'm saying? And I think that goes a long ways with it. When you got to be able to trust guys that they're going to do what they need to do and they're going to be responsive and responsible when they get the ball in their hands.
And if they weren't that guy, that's when we have to go back and talk to the development.
Exactly.
How come we weren't developing those guys into those people that can get out there and do some things too? Shout out to Melanie Lynn Brooks. Okay, good to see you. And she's talking about Rachel Mobley. You know what I'm talking about? You know who she's talking about right there? I'm not sure. But I think they might be talking amongst themselves out there.
They are.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. It's all family here. Everybody talk to each other. Introduce yourselves. Make yourself comfortable.
Yep.
Welcome to A Player's Perspective. Check us out on Spreaker. Spreaker is our podcast format, so you can always check us out on that to check us and listen to us. Check us out on YouTube and right here on Facebook Live. There's going to be some Instagram and all that kind of stuff that's out there.
Right.
So you can get a player's perspective, Ken, in any way and format that you want these days.
Right.
Somebody said, I need more podcasts. And we gave that man some more podcasts. Absolutely. So we're excited about Kim Jackson, the engineer behind the boards.
There you go.
Making things happen for us. And then we actually added a new productive team that's on the creative side. They're back there brainstorming right now on
Yes.
some new and better things that we can actually provide and give you guys on the show. So they're right now in their brainstorming session right now behind closed
Is
doors.
that what happened when your eyes are closed?
That when your eyes are closed,
Okay,
and
okay.
yeah, they actually thinking of some good stuff right now.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of guys over there, man. And, you know, Ryan Lance, just to throw a name out there, he had a great spring. He was the other quarterback out there that threw some stuff. So, you know, people, they're sleeping on us, Ken.
Yeah.
There's a lot of depth out there. There's a lot of depth out there. And there's a lot of depth out there. And there's a lot of guys that are going to be actually being able to step up and show some stuff out there. Let's see what we got out here, Ken. Some other people, some other names that maybe pop up to you, maybe even on defense.
Oh, you know, I can't wait for Charlie to get started.
Ooh, Charlie. Charlie.
You know,
not Wilson,
I'm
but Thomas.
But Thomas, I'm waiting on him to kind of take that if he can take that next step.
Yeah.
You know, the other kid, the big kid that I was kind of impressed by in the spring, Tariq Carpenter. Mm-hmm. I did not realize he was his size. I didn't think of him being. I don't know what made me think that he was smaller.
Well, Ken, it must be the angle in the box.
It got to be the angle.
It's got to be that, because then we go down there and we go talk to these guys one-on-one, and it's like we go from like thinking that we're going to put our heads down to talk to somebody to lifting our heads up.
Right, exactly.
And it's just amazing for what's going on out there. So the size is there. Now these guys got a little girth on them and everything else going out there. But, yeah, like you said, Tariq Carpenter is going to be out there. And then we got these foreign exchange guys coming up in here doing some stuff. Not really foreign exchange, but are they?
No.
Would they be considered foreign exchange?
I mean, you know, he's here now.
He's here now. You know, but we're going to have to work on his name. But Slovene, Yandosian. I hate if I'm messing it up, brother. I hate that. But
I think you got a butcher knife in your.
I think I did. I think I messed that thing up. But we got a chance to meet him in the spring.
Right.
Very good sized kid, and then every day he's learning this game better and better.
Yeah.
And I can only think about Adam Gotsis in that type of situation.
Right, exactly.
Somebody that just came on the scene from down under, got out there with that long wingspan and started wreaking some havoc. Now he's doing it on the
Now
professional
he's doing
level.
it on the pro level, and
Yeah.
and that's the thing about it. You never know what you got, and you know, there's no substitute for a clean slate or
That's
a blank
right.
board. You
That's
know what I'm
right.
saying? Because now, you know, you can teach him everything that you need to teach him.
Mm-hmm.
He probably won't have bad habits,
Right.
because you're teaching, you know,
The
from
right stuff.
the right stuff from the get go. And it's all about how you start out. It's not when you start out,
Right.
but how you're being taught. You know, most of those things kind of carry over through the rest of your life, through the whole foundation of you playing.
Yeah.
You know, the way you were taught to run when you were in Pee Wee
Yeah.
kind of is the foundation of how you play and how you would run once you get into a high school or college situation.
Right.
You know, but you just hope you get better and better, and as time progresses, and that's what can happen when you got kids like this. You really can see, because he's got a big frame, just a massive guy, and you can see him really being a dominant factor. And
I like the eyes, Ken.
Yes.
You know how you could just look in the eyes and just see that people just have a willingness to show up and just bring havoc upon something. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Show up with bad intentions.
There you go.
It looks like, that he may be somebody that can actually cause some havoc up front.
Yeah, and that's going to be we need a disruptor.
Yes.
We need a guy that's going to be very disruptive and play free and all that good stuff.
Now, we talked about it in some of the freshman class that we were excited about was Devin Ellison.
Right.
Somebody else with huge speed that's coming on here, and have a chance to see what's going to happen with him out there. Just providing depth to the depth chart out there,
Right.
and putting some things out there that we're looking forward to. But defensive backs are Johnny Kerr. He had some brief moments out there last year, making some great plays against Virginia Tech and doing some things I think against Miami. So you're going to get a chance to see him another year older,
Right.
going out there and providing some of that experience out there and doing some things. And somebody else I was high on, Jordan Dominic. Okay,
Yes.
watching him get out there and do some things. He may have had a little injury, I think, at the end of spring, but hopefully he's healthy. He's back. He's ready to go. But somebody else I feel that can be someone of a disruptor too,
Right.
to get out there and do some good stuff. But Tyler Cooksey is at tight end, and so the tight ends are going to be representing this fall.
Right.
So we're going to get a chance to see that and make that happen. But a great freshman class, Ken, tied in with a lot of great seniors and with some leadership out there that's going to be provided. And then some young guys that are showing leadership type principles
Right.
that are going to be able to kind of maybe take in a year and be able to then go out there and showcase that talent and that leadership for the next 3 to 4 years.
And the one thing about it now, you got an opportunity to let these guys, the young guys, play.
Yeah.
You got a moment to kind of see what they can do and see what they can handle and see who they can become before you decide to shut them down or either let them continue.
And
But,
Coach has a process. He said it's just above the line.
Right, right.
So if you can play, you're going to play.
Right.
And I think that's a great principle right there.
Yeah.
Or definitely a nice little carrot that you can dangle upon people.
Right,
Because
right.
I remember a lot of times coming in and you felt like you could play, but you didn't get a chance to play because of somebody believing you needed a red shirt.
Right.
Or just wanting to have a red shirt for you so that you can have more years down the line.
Right.
But what he's saying is that, man, if you get out there and you can ball, then you're going to go out there and play some ball.
Right.
And so that's exciting about that and making that happen. So looks like that we're coming up to the end of our hour.
Yes, sir.
And I always hate to come up to this point, but now it's time to say goodbye
Yes.
to all our company.
Oh, God.
YEL LOW NATION. So all of my Yellow Nation, Yellow Jacket Nation.
Yes.
But man, I hate this time. I hate it. But
you
hey,
go.
it's time for us to go and wrap this up. But I hope you all enjoyed our show today. There's going to be many, many more coming about. Keep posting. We'll answer some of your questions and everything offline and on the site and getting back to you definitely during the week and giving
There
you
you
all
go.
the status of what's going on. Please go and check out RamblingWreck.com. Check out all the changes. We done added a new swimming coach out there. We've got the launching of the season of our new women's basketball coach.
Yes.
We just signed a nice recruit out there with the women's basketball team. So get out there and wish her a congratulatory message and put that out there for her. So Coach is putting together a great little team out there for that. And then we got our Yellow Jackets on the court with their volleyball. And they've got some new facilities. They got a new home where they
Okay.
can play in, a new court, a new stands, that kind of stuff. So get a chance to get out there and support them also. What else you want to say, Ken?
Hey, I just want to let everybody know that we are back, and
Yes, sir.
even though we're back, and it's been kind of spotty during the summer,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm so glad that football season is once again upon us.
Absolutely.
Now, I haven't even told Tommy this, but next week I'll be having a little procedure done to my left eye, and I just want to solicit everybody's prayer and ask that y'all would pray for me. And as I go through this situation, I have a condition called keratoconus that deals with the cornea of your eye. So, we going in to do a little slight procedure, and prayerfully it'll help me see a little bit better.
How'd you get carrots in your eye?
Tommy, I'll tell you when we get off there. Only you.
Ooh, so hey, you eat carrots, but if you eat too many carrots, you're gonna end up with this. So we're gonna have to talk about that.
That is not
later
what
on.
that means.
So we're gonna figure it out off the air and get back to you. But right now, lift my man up in prayer. so that he'll have a successful surgery. We know that you will.
Yes.
All right. Well, God bless your brother. And we look forward to seeing all you guys next week. We love y'all. Have a great week. Enjoy Georgia Tech football right now.
Yes.
And we'll see you in the future. Have a good one.
Peace.
Peace.